This video will show you how to create surface analysis inside Civil 3D. Within this model file, I have to create a surface. I'm going to select all the information and then go over to our properties menu over here. If your properties menu isn't open, just type in properties into the command bar and it will display. I can see that there is over 2300 bits of information in here. I have 3D faces, blocks, text, 3D polylines and polylines. Before I create a surface, I want to make sure all that information is on the right elevation, so I'm going to orbit around. I'm going to do this using the cube on the top right hand corner of the drawn area, and I'm going to select this corner of the cube. You'll see that I navigate slightly around. I am then going to select the front of the cube, and I can see that there is information on the 0 elevation, and I'm just going to highlight all that information and delete it. I'm now going to orbit back down to the top view, and I'm going to select all my information again and see what type of information I have to define the surface as. So I'll have to define it as 3D face, blocks, text, 3D polylines and polylines. I'm going to first add them in as 3D faces. So I have to create a surface, go over to the tool space on the left hand side. If this isn't active, go up to your Home tab and make sure it's blue, the tool space under the Palettes panel. Create a surface, expand out surfaces, right click on surfaces and create a surface. In here we're just going to give it the name of Topo and click OK. You will notice that the Topo surface has now been created and we're just going to define it. Expand out topo and expand out definition. We're going to add in the 3D faces as drawn objects. So left click on drawn objects and then right click and click add. From the object type, we're going to change it to 3D faces and select OK. Draw a green selection box over all the topo information and press enter. And you now have a surface created from the 3D mesh. Also within this file, I had blocks, so I'm going to add in blocks. Go back again to my tool space, expand out surfaces, expand out topo, expand out definition, and we're going to add in blocks. Right click on drawn object once again and click add. Object type this time is going to be blocks and go OK. And then we're going to draw a green selection box again over our information. We also had text within this file, so we're going to define it with text too. So we're going to come down to the drawn object once again under the topo definition, right click, add, and we're going to add in the text. Go OK and select the information and press enter. And the last thing we had was 3D and 2D polylines, and we add them into the surface as breaklines. Go to the tool space, go down to break lines under the definition tab, go to add. Again, you can put in a description if you want. I'm going to leave all the default settings here and go OK. And once again, draw a green selection box to select all the information. And the surface is now created. You can view this surface in Object Viewer by selecting the surface, and on the contextual ribbon under the General Tools we have Object Viewer. Left clicking on Object Viewer, it will display. You can change the styles. Yours might come up as 3D hidden. Change it to realistic and then orbit around. To orbit around, you left click and you move the mouse. And you can see the surface. We can run a surface analysis by selecting the surface, and on the contextual ribbon we're going to go to the Modify panel and select Surface Properties. Now make sure you only have one thing selected, because if you have more than one thing selected, your contextual ribbon will look like this. So if you're getting a multiple tab up here, just press Escape a few times and select the triangulated surface. To create an analysis, we go up to the Surface Properties, left click on Surface Properties. Within the Surface Properties dialog box, we are going to go to the Analysis tab. Selecting this tab, we're going to run an analysis for, maybe we'll go with slopes. So you can see all the different types you can have. So we'll go with slopes and we'll put in maybe 3 ranges. And then click on this arrow to put in the 3 ranges of slopes we can have. So I can see we can go from 0 to maybe instead of 560 or 5,621%, I might change this to 10%. And then this second band, I'll change it from 10% to maybe 50%, and then from 50% up to infinity. And I'll also change the colors. So we'll say for the first row there, we'll put it at a color of red. For the second band, we'll put it at a color of blue. And the third band, we'll put it at a color of magenta. I'm going to click Apply and OK, and you can see nothing has happened within our model file. The reason that nothing has happened is because we need to change the surface style. Select the surface once again, go to the Modify panel, select Surface Properties. Selecting Surface Properties, go to the Information tab, and we're going to change the surface style to 2D solid slope banding, and go OK. And in here it shows you the color banding that we've set in the analysis. So again, the red is for the 0 to 10%, the blue is from 10 to 50, and then the magenta is over 50%. To add in a legend for this, we can click on the surface, and we have this Add Legend command here. Selecting the Add Legend command, it will ask us what do you want to have a legend for, and it's going to be for slopes. Left click on slopes. Now we can have the legend dynamic or static. So if this surface is going to update, you want to leave it on dynamic. If you're happy that the surface won't be updated again, you can leave it on static. I'm just going to leave it on dynamic for the time being. So I left click on dynamic, and I'm going to place in the legend, left click somewhere around here. And you can see that it brings in the legend like so. I can modify this legend to add in the area by left clicking on the table. So I had more than one thing selected there, so I have to press Escape. Select the table, and we're going to go into our table properties. Select Table Properties, and we're just going to modify this table by clicking on the Modify or Edit button beside the table style cell here. I can see these are all of the columns I have in my legend. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to add in another column. I clicked on the plus button here, scroll across, and you can see another column has been added in there. If I double click on the heading column or the heading cell up here, I can put in a heading. Within this black box, I'm just going to type in area and go OK. I now have that heading of area added to the column, and the next thing I want to do is add in a parameter down here so the software knows to calculate the area. Double click on this cell just below the automatic, and this dialog box will appear. Go into the Properties tab, and then within the Properties drop-down list, we want to search for or add in Surface Range 2D Area. Now you could do Surface Range 3D Area. I'm just going to put in Surface Area 2D Area, and I'm going to click on this arrow button here to make sure it goes into this black box. Go OK, and you'll see that that parameter has been added in there, and go OK. And then I'm going to go OK to this table property box, and you'll see another cell has been added in there, and it'll tell you exactly the area of each one of these rows.